Friends, one of the striking discoveries of modern science has been that the laws of physics and the constants of physics and numbers that govern the operation of the universe unexpectedly conspire in an extraordinary way to make the universe habitable for life. In other words, our universe is finely tuned on a razor's edge that defies the explanation that it could have been something that happened by mere chance, and is better explained as the work of a God. It's like this. If you go out at night in the summer, let's say, and it's a clear night, and you look up at the sky and you expect to see thousands of stars, right? But on this night, that's not what you see. You look up and you see 50 to 100 giant dials in the sky. And each dial represents a number that governs the operation of the universe. And each dial has the potential of being calibrated to one of trillions or trillions of possible settings, and yet all of these 50 to 100 dials are exactly calibrated to the precise position so that life can exist. Friends, that is a picture that modern physics gives us of our world. It's absolutely extraordinary. Or as Psalm 19 verse 1 said, the heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. I can give you a couple examples of these dials and how they're finely calibrated. We all know what the force of gravity is, right? You know what gravity is? If you drop something, it's going to hit the ground. Well, gravity happens to be finely tuned on a razor's edge so that you can exist. So imagine a ruler that goes across the entire universe, 15 billion light years across the universe, this ruler. And it's broken down in 1-inch increments. This represents plausibly the range along which a force of gravity could have been set anywhere along that ruler, and yet it's set at the exact right place so that life can exist. What if we were to change the setting? What if we were to change the setting 1 inch compared to the 15 billion light year width of the universe? Guess what? Intelligent life would be impossible anywhere in the universe. That's just one of those dials. There's 50 to 100 of these things. Another one is the strong nuclear force. That binds together the nucleus of atoms, keeps the atoms together. What if you changed it? What if you decreased that force by just 1 part in 10,000 billion? If you did that, all we would have in the universe would be hydrogen. Life would be impossible. Or my favorite one, the ratio of the electromagnetic force to the gravitational force. That is finely tuned to 1 part in 10,000 trillion. Now, how do we understand something like that? Well, one scientist gave an illustration. He said, imagine a continent the size of North America. And then imagine dimes are piled on that continent all the way to the moon, 238,000 miles. Can you imagine how many dimes that would be? Now imagine 1 billion continents the size of North America, all of them with dimes piled 238,000 miles into the sky. Pick 1 dime at random, spray paint it red, mix it up among all those billion continents going up 238,000 miles, and then blindfold 1 person and say, you can wander among all of these dimes, but you can only pick out 1 dime at random. You're blindfolded. You pick it out. What are the odds it would be the dime that had been spray painted red? 1 chance in 10,000 trillion. That is how finely tuned it is. Friends, it is absolutely mind-blowing. I was interviewing a famous physicist about this, and I said, what are the chances that this could have just happened by chance? And he looked at me and said, well, we scientists have a scientific term for that. I said, what is it? He said, ain't going to happen. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. The evidence is so strong that Dr. Vera Kistiakowsky, professor of physics at MIT, former president of the Association of Women in Science, said this: the exquisite order displayed by our scientific understanding of the physical world calls for the divine. In other words, this points toward the fact that God is real.